Pioneering running since 1972, but since 1983, there's been one running shoe that's captured our attention from high school hopefuls to Olympic and world champions. However, over the years, the running shoe landscape has changed, and I'm left to wonder, can you still trust the Nike Pegasus 39 in 2022? Hey, what's poppin'? Jordan Thomas here. I've had the pleasure of running over 50 miles in this shoe across 10 different workouts, and this remains my favorite video of the year to make, primarily because it takes me back to the first time I felt fast as an adult, and then it takes me back to the time that I felt fast as a kid, and I want to be able to share some of that experience with you. And so when it comes to developing trust with the Nike Pegasus, and then specifically the Nike Pegasus 39, I'd say that there are 4 areas that you want to focus on, beginning with versatility. Performance matters. Over 50 miles in the shoe, 10 different workouts. I'm not saying the shoe have you feeling as fast as T'Challa in the end scene in Infinity War, but what I will say is that it helps set you up for the training that'll help get you there. And because you can use this for everything training from like the 60-meter dash all the way up to the marathon, and it's linked to so many different runners across that spectrum, you can feel good about picking up this shoe and being able to throw whatever workout you need to at it. I've been using this primarily as like my early season marathon training shoe. And so right now, where it's just a bulk of like easier kind of timed runs, some fartleks, maybe, a few intervals on the track, I found this shoe really helpful to me, and that allows me just to focus on the workouts and not so much about what's on my feet. Now, what I would say is like specifically when it comes to like doing like runs over like 90 minutes or so for those that are more distance oriented, I did find myself wanting something a little bit more premium, a little bit more like responsive. But when I've taken it out like, on the road, grass, track, trail, I felt just really good in the shoe. And one of the primary reasons for that is going to be the reliability, and then specifically the midsole. Men lie, women lie, midsoles don't. And one thing that Nike understands and gets right pretty much every time is the midsole. What you'll find with this particular version is that you got Zoom React throughout the entire shoe. And then in the forefoot, you'll have an Air Zoom unit, and then also in the rear, you've got an Air Zoom unit with some additional cushioning. And so where I did mention that, up through that like 90-minute mile, I did want something else. I didn't feel like I needed necessarily. I just wanted something. I've had the opportunity to run in, Alpha Fly or Vaporfly, so I just know the difference in ZoomX. But what you're getting with this is a high level of durability. You got some additional cushioning in the back. It helps lead to a nice heel-to-toe transition. And I'm a person, particularly when the run gets longer, that I start to rock back a lot more on my heels. And so having that additional cushion in there is money. And they also did something unique in that this used to come to a point, but now it's a little bit more rounded. So I think it's maybe just a nice little way to shave a little weight and never mad an additional swoosh. Next, you got an outsole that just can't lose. That waffle overall iron, this is also new in this year's version. And then you've got some additional flex grooves, which are nice just to help, offset the fact that you've got Air Zoom unit in there as well. So it helps keep the shoe nice and flexible. Also, traction on these shoes, being able to run on so many different surfaces, also really key. When you look at that combination of things, the durability of these easily 300 plus miles. Coming in at $130, this is actually the first time since Obama was president that the shoe has changed in price from the $120 price point back in 2016. And so here it is 6 years later, there's a $10 increase. I can live with that. Now, the next thing you got to look at is adaptability. Talk about fit. If the fit isn't legit, I can't get with it, and I couldn't recommend it. I went with an 11.5. I would say that you may want to go a half size down, and that's primarily because they reworked the upper. And that's a good news in that it's lighter, it's more breathable. They got rid of a lot of the material that I feel like was unnecessary in the previous version. With that though, I believe it helped create additional space. So additional highlights to the upper. Although I'm using the black and white for demonstration purposes, look, there are more colorways available than flavors of Oreo cookies. And so if you don't see a style right now on the website that you want, you can also do Nike by You and get pretty much any combination you can think of, which I think is pretty cool. The combination of the fly wire as well as a band on the inside does help allow for additional customization, tailoring, and just getting that fit that's most important to you. When it comes to the tongue, it's still got about the same amount of padding as the previous version, but now I feel like it's a bit mismatched in that the engineered mesh is like very thin, and then you've got a thicker overall tongue. While I appreciate that it's detached from the overall shoe by way of the band, I would have liked a bit thinner of an overall tongue. And hopefully that's something we'll see in the 40. Overall, I felt like this is a very secure fit. No issues when it came to heel slipping. I've appreciated this counter since they made the adjustment due to a bit of a Mo Farah's recommendation. And so that additional cushioning towards the collar, no issues a rubbing or anything like that. Now, would I recommend you pick up these or pick up the 38s on discount? It really just depends on kind of where you are in terms of what's important to you in terms of innovation. For myself, I like to have the most current year. But look, the 38s are gonna be discounted. There's not so many changes in here that it'll be super crucial. So if you wanna save a couple dollars, by all means do so. And really, if you want these, just wait a few months, wait for a few more colorways to come out, and these will come down in price as well. Now, in terms of who I recommend this shoe for, first and foremost, it's gonna be those that are earlier on in their running journey. This could be anyone who's middle school, high school, up into someone who's, in their upper 30s or 40s or 50s even, and just kind of getting reintroduced or getting introduced to running. This offers a great baseline. And then from there, you can kind of figure out what other things are important to you about a running shoe. Also, it's just a really good looking shoe to put on and not think about it just as a tool, but also something you look forward to include in your daily routine. Next, I'm talking specifically to my dedicated, 100 meter through 5K type of folks, or even people who are training up to the marathon and just want a shoe that they just know that they can rely and count on. I find myself in that particular boat, and so this is a shoe that I recommend. And then third is just general fitness. Someone that wants something that's pretty adaptable. Maybe you're doing CrossFit, or maybe you want to use it as a walking shoe, just something like that, multi-purpose type person. This is a shoe that I recommend. Now, if I haven't convinced you to trust in these just yet from this video, well, I have another video for another shoe that I recommend here that you might want to check out. I'll see you next time. Jordan Thomas, peace.